Theo. This is Jabari. I'm glad to hear back David Wood. And I just have two questions for CL Edwards. One is, CL, did you face a lot of racism as from your fellow as a Muslim? And two, what was the reaction of your mom when they found out that you gave your life to Christ?
Okay. Very good question. Actually, yes, I did experience racism in Islam, which was a surprise because I was told there was no racism in Islam. There were times where I would go inside the mosque. I would look some of my Muslim brothers in the face. I would say, Assalamu alaikum. They would look at me and they would turn their face away from me and they would not even greet me. They wouldn't touch my hand. They wouldn't shake my hand. You know, Muslims like to parade the idea that Islam is this universal, worldwide brotherhood. But the issues of racism that are real within the Ummah, the community of Muslims, are real, and they don't get addressed a lot. They get pushed under the table. Yeah, you got to understand that black Americans represent maybe the highest growth of Islam. They are converting to Islam in droves, but you rarely see a black person given leadership in an Islamic organization like INSNA or MSA, any of these type of things. Another incident, I'll tell you this true incident that happened to a friend of mine in Toronto. He was friends with an Indian gentleman, two Muslims. He asked him, I want to marry your sister. This destroyed their friendship. They stopped speaking, the Indian brother stopped speaking to him because he was black and he would not give his sister in marriage to this Muslim, even though he thought he was a good Muslim. He wouldn't give this man his sister in marriage. So there's a lot of stuff like this that goes on in Islam.
Now Sam, surely this is just a modern phenomenon. You don't have this in the history of Islam, this history of racism.
No, actually we do. There are several narrations attributed to Muhammad that show that Muhammad's disdain for blacks. I know there are Muslims who like to quote episodes in the life of Muhammad where he treated blacks fairly. However, let me just read what this one Muslim authority said. If anyone were to accuse Muhammad of being black, according to the hadith, it goes out of its way to say he's a white man. White thigh, white armpits, that white man right there, etc. Let me read this. This comes from Ash-Shifa of Qadi Iyad. Qadi Iyad Musa al-Yasubi, page 375 in the English translation of his work. A highly renowned work recommended by such Muslim scholars as Hamza Yusuf. In fact, I found out about this book because Hamza Yusuf recommended it. He said, all Muslims need to read this book in order to fall in love with the messenger of Allah, which he's no messenger of the true God, but that's what they believe. Page 375 of the English translation of Ash-Shifa of Qadi Iyad, notice what this says. Ahmed ibn Abi Sulaiman, the companion of Sahnun, said, anyone who says that the Prophet was black should be killed.
Should be killed.
Let me read it again. Ahmed ibn Abi Sulaiman, the companion of Sahnun, said, anyone who says that the Prophet was black should be killed. Just in case you didn't get it the first time, the same narration is repeated on page 387 by the same source. Ahmad ibn Abi Sulaiman, Sahnun's companion, said that whoever says that the Prophet was black is killed. The Prophet was not black. Then I can show you from Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, reports that say that Muhammad owned black slaves and sold off black slaves.
But what I'm wondering is, what if you have a dream about a black woman? What's going on
That's
there?
a sign of disease, according to Bukhari and Muslim. Muhammad said, yeah, this is the words of Muhammad, if you have a dream of a black woman, that's a sign of an epidemic. A disease will break out in your area.
Well, one more question. When Muhammad wanted to explain to his followers that they should follow their leader, and he had to give the most extreme, worst imaginable example of a leader, what did he say? You should follow your leader even if he's...
Is an Ethiopian whose head looks like a raisin.
Now,
or black Ethiopian whose head looks like a raisin.
Now, obviously, this must be some horrible source that no Muslim trusts. What would be the source on that?
Bukhari and Muslim.
Sahih al-Bukhari, their most trusted collections?
The two Sahihin, it's found in both narrations.
Hold on, are you saying that in Islam's most trusted collections of ahadith, Muhammad calls black people raisin heads?
Right. Yeah.
But Sam, I didn't read that in my copy. It doesn't say that in English, does it?
My copy says it in English, man. I don't know. You got the not inspired translation?
You got the watered down.
Since we're on the theme, can I just read this from Sahih Muslim about how he sold black slaves? Sahih Muslim, Book 10, number 3901. And by the way, Sahih Muslim is considered the second most authentic collection of narrations, second only to Sahih Bukhari. Now, Sahih Muslim, number 3901. Narrated Jabir ibn Abdullah, there came a slave and pledged allegiance to Allah's apostle on migration. He, the prophet, did not know that he was a slave. Then there came his master and demanded him back, whereupon Allah's apostle said, sell him to me. And he bought him for 2 black slaves.
So a non-black slave is worth 2 black slaves?
Yeah, well, here it doesn't say he's a black slave, so it's a non-black slave, yes.
Interesting. Well, we had there was a part 2 to that question, namely, how did your mosque react when you left Islam?
Oh, well, it was a very strong reaction. I immediately started receiving phone calls, messages, emails, Facebook updates, asking me what's wrong, what happened to you. People started saying that, you know, I had lost my mind, I was possessed by the jinn.
Who are the jinn, by the way? Genie, right?
The genies, the devils, the demons. So, you know, by confessing Jesus Christ, you know, I'm possessed by devils now. You know, so this, from the last time I spoke to anyone from my old mosque, this is the last thing that is being spread around, that I have lost my mind. You know, I'm gone.
Yeah, you seem crazy.
Yeah, you look like,
All right, let's go on to our next caller. Who is it? Star?
I'm Dar, and
Dar.
you were asking earlier about contradictions in the Quran.
Uh-huh.
Right. I'm sure someone has the Quran there. Who is normally said to have built the Kaaba?
I can't hear him. What he said,
who is said to have built the Kaaba?
Who is said to build the Kaaba?
In Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, it is implied that Abraham and Ishmael built the Kaaba, but it's not explicit.
Correct. And that the normal Muslim will say Abraham built it. Look in your Quran, please, if you would, in Surah 5, verse 97.
Okay. Okay. What about it?
It says Allah built it.
Allah had appointed the Kaaba? Yes, yeah. Well, a Muslim may say that Allah did so through human agency, because he acts through human agents and angels.
Okay. Okay.
You know?
And on your other discussion, if you have Tabari, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Tabari.
Al-Tabari, but you're doing good, friend. I'm learning too as I go along, so we're both in the same camp.
Okay. Book 2, verse 11.
What does it say? You're saying Al-Tabari in his history. What does it say?
It's about it's about racism, and basically it's Muslim historians are going through and coming up with a lot of stuff.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's rather long. I really wouldn't want to.
Summarize the gist of it. Give us the gist of that quotation.
The gist of it: Noah prayed that the prophets and apostles would be descended from Shem, and the kings would be from Japheth. He prayed that the Africans' color would change so that their descendants would be slaves to the Arabs and Turks.
Wow. Wow. You know, that's an interesting statement, because there are some narrations that actually said, in fact, let me read it, just to go with that. Someone said, well, this is an isolated report. This is Tabari, and Tabari is not always accurate in what he says. But let me just read this. This comes from At-Tirmidhi, the hadith collection of At-Tirmidhi, as well as Mishkat al-Masabi. Let me read the one from Mishkat al-Masabi. It's Abu Darda reported, Allah's messenger saying, Allah created Adam when he created him, and struck his right shoulder and brought forth offspring white like small ants. And he struck his left shoulder and brought forth his offspring black as though they were charcoal. Then he said to the party in his right hand, those who were white, to paradise, and I don't care. And he said to the party in his left shoulder, who were the black-skinned, to hell, and I do not care. So, that's Islam for you, my friend.